They were rich, famous, and at the height of their power. But just when they were about to speak up, reveal something dangerous, or take control of their own story, they died. Coincidence? Or were they silenced? This is Industry Eye, and today we're exposing 5 celebrities who died right before they exposed the truth. Let's begin. At number 1, Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson wasn't just the king of pop, he was a cultural force. But by the late 2000s, he wasn't just preparing for a comeback tour. He was also allegedly preparing to speak out. About what? Some say the music industry's corrupt power structure. Some say about Sony, the company he once accused of sabotaging his career and stealing artists' rights. In 2002, Michael stood on stage and declared Sony executive Tommy Mottola was evil and said the industry was exploiting black artists. That wasn't just a random rant, it was a public war. By 2009, Jackson was set to take the stage again with This Is It. But insiders said he had plans for more than just music. He wanted to own his masters again. He wanted to expose the deals that destroyed countless artists. But before the first show, he died suddenly. The official cause was cardiac arrest from a doctor-administered sedative. But why was the doctor paid by people around him? Why were cameras removed from the hallway of his room the night he died? And why, after his death, did Sony suddenly regain control of a massive portion of his catalog? To some, Michael wasn't just lost, he was silenced. At number 2, Whitney Houston. Whitney Houston had one of the greatest voices of all time, but her fall from grace was public and brutal. Drugs, tabloids, and a toxic marriage with Bobby Brown defined her final years. But there was something strange about the timing of her death. Whitney was reportedly working on a comeback. She was making amends, talking about her past, and trying to rebuild. But some say she was also ready to talk about what really happened behind the scenes, about her early exploitation, about abuse, about the industry's pressure to silence her personal truth. Just days before the 2012 Grammys, Whitney was found dead in her hotel bathtub. But it gets weirder. She died in the same hotel where the Grammy pre-party was being held, hosted by Clive Davis, the same industry giant who discovered her. Some reports say Whitney had expressed fear, paranoia, and even that she felt she was being followed. The cause of death was accidental drowning mixed with drugs, but her family didn't buy it. Her close friends said she was trying to expose something, that she felt targeted. Then her daughter, Bobby Christina, also died in a bathtub under eerily similar circumstances. Was Whitney silenced before she could speak? At number 3, Prince. He was more than an artist. He was a revolutionary. He famously fought for control of his masters and ownership of his music. He even changed his name to a symbol to protest the industry's control over his identity. Prince warned about the evils of record labels. He urged young artists to stay independent. And in his final years, he became increasingly vocal, especially about chemtrails, health manipulation, and government surveillance. To some, he was sounding the alarm on things far beyond music. In 2016, Prince died from an alleged fentanyl overdose in his Minnesota home. But those close to him say he wasn't a drug addict. He didn't party. He was clean, spiritual, and careful. Days before his death, Prince hinted at secrets. During a show, he said, "Wait a few days. You'll see what I mean." Some believe he had documents, information, maybe even proof of what he had been talking about for years. But that proof never surfaced. And now he's gone. At number 4, Tupac Shakur. Tupac was more than a rapper. He was a political voice, a revolutionary, and someone who had no problem calling out corruption, police brutality, and the dark side of Hollywood. Before he died, Pac was transitioning. He was reading deep political literature, speaking about change, and hinting at starting a new movement. There were rumors he was going to leave Death Row Records and expose Suge Knight and the ties that label had to more than just music. He even spoke about the government watching him. He believed he was targeted, that his phones were tapped, that he wasn't safe. Then, in 1996, he was gunned down in Las Vegas. No one was ever officially convicted. Theories swirled for years: gang retaliation, label disputes, inside jobs. But some believe Tupac was eliminated not because of music beefs, but because of what he was about to say, what he was going to build, and the movements he was about to launch. At number 5, Brittany Murphy. Brittany Murphy was a rising star in the early 2000s, but she also had a reputation in Hollywood as someone who was unpredictable, uncontrollable. She started speaking out about strange things on set. She was allegedly blacklisted after defending her friend, whistleblower Julia Davis, who had accused the Department of Homeland Security of abuse of power. Brittany supported her, and from that moment, her life reportedly took a dark turn. She said she was being watched, that she and her husband were being followed. She claimed helicopters hovered above her house, that government agents were after her. Then, in 2009, she died suddenly at age 32. The cause was pneumonia and anemia, they said. But the details were messy. Toxic mold? Poison? No one could agree. 5 months later, her husband Simon Monjack also died in the same house. From the same cause. Her father pushed for an investigation. He believed she had been poisoned. A private lab even claimed they found heavy metals in her hair. Was Brittany Murphy just another Hollywood tragedy? Or someone who got too close to something dangerous? 5 lives, 5 stories, all cut short, all surrounded by strange timing, secrets, and silenced voices. Maybe they were accidents, maybe not. But one thing is clear: when celebrities speak too loudly, the world listens. And when they get too close to the truth, the industry often stops the music. This is Industry Eye. And now you know.